Hi, and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be doing a video about the most disappointing books of 2013. So this video isn't necessarily going to be all books that were released in 2013, but it's about books that I read in 2013 that I was really excited to read, but when I read the book it just fell flat for me and it was totally short of my expectations. Now I'm going to start with the most controversial book on this list, and that would be The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. You guys have probably all heard of this book by now, but in case you haven't, it is about two kids, Hazel and Augustus, and they are both diagnosed with cancer, and it kind of follows their love story. And there was quite a few reasons why I didn't like this book. I think I've talked about it before, but I just felt like the two main characters were just very pretentious, and they kind of just annoyed me, and I didn't really feel an emotional attachment to them, which is weird because I'm emotionally attached to like every fictional character. And even when something bad happens at the end, I just didn't really care that much. I just thought that the writing style wasn't my type of thing, but everyone else loves that book, so it's basically just me in that regards. The second book that I'm going to talk about is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I actually attempted to read this in January. And this book takes place in the 1920s. It's a fantasy murder mystery adventure book about a girl named Evie, and she is sent to live with her uncle in the city, and he is kind of investigating a series of murders. And when I heard about this book, I was so excited. I absolutely adore historical fiction novels, like historical fiction, anything I love. And when I was reading the book, the main character was just so freaking annoying, and it's a really long book, and I just got bored. I think I stopped with about 100 pages left. I didn't finish it, and I remember I read ahead to the end, and the ending was crappy, and I just didn't finish it. I usually try and finish books, but I couldn't finish that one. I do want to read it again before the second one comes out and see if I just was having issues with it or whatever. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins. Sweet Evil is yet another in the long string of angel paranormal romances. Now, angel books are kind of a hit and miss for me. You have City Bones and Angel Fall, which I loved, and then you have this and the Fallen series, which I didn't like. This book, I don't know, the main character was just annoying, and I felt like it just promoted really bad behavior, and there's a lot of like risque stuff going on, and it just annoyed me. And the main character was cool, but he was the only thing I liked in the entire book, and I had no desire whatsoever to read the second book. And usually if I don't really like a book, I'll sometimes read the second book. This one, no desire whatsoever. I know a lot of people like this book though, so most of these in this list, it's just me. Next I have Goddess by Josephine Angelini. This is the third book in the Starcross series. Now, the Starcross series is one of my favorite series of all time. I'd probably say it's in like my top 5 favorite series. So this is the last book in the series. So I've literally been counting down the day of that book was being released. It was released in May. I was counting down to that day for about a year. And I read it, and when I was done, I was just like, what did I just read? And not in a good way. It was just, I felt like the book just kind of, all the characters were acting weird and annoying, and there was all these plot twists that happened, but it wasn't anything rational. The only good thing about the book was the relationship between the two main characters, and even then they were ticking me off. I highly recommend the series. It's about Greek mythology, and I love Greek mythology. It's just the last book fell really, really flat for me. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Ruby Red by Kirsten Gier. This is a time travel book about a girl named Gwen, and her family has there's a gene being passed around that's like the time travel gene, and Gwen doesn't think that she has the gene. She thinks that her cousin does, but all this stuff happens, and for whatever reason, I just have never been a fan of time traveling books. I think it's really interesting. I just haven't read any books where it was done well. I read the Hourglass series, and that was okay, and this one, I just felt like it's a really short book. First of all, it's only like 300 pages, and everything just went by so fast. Nothing was really explained, and then the main character, she's okay, and then at the end it just fell short for me. I heard that the rest of the series is better, so maybe I'll continue. If any of you guys have read it, then let me know in the comments down below if I should continue with the series or not. Next, I have Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by April Genevieve Tucholk. This book is about a girl named Violet who lives in upstate Maine, and she rents out a guest house to this guy, and she thinks that he is the devil. Now, I had my eye on this book for quite a while, and I thought it sounded really cool and really creepy and really interesting. But I read it, and it was a hot mess. I gave it a 1 star. I think I've only given like 2 or 3 books a 1 star this year, and this was one of them. Oh my god. It was just, first of all, it wasn't even creepy. If you want a creepy book, go read The Unbecoming of Mar Dyer. Don't even waste your time with this book. It was just not creepy at all. The main character was just so stupid. It was just like, oh my god, I love the guy, blah, blah, blah. Even though his brother comes along, and his brother's really cool, but no, she doesn't like the brother. She likes the creepy guy. And it was just not a fan of that book at all. Last but not least, I have one of my most anticipated books of the year, Untold by Sarah Rees Brennan. Untold is the second book in the Unspoken series, which I read Unspoken, I think, on the last day of 2012. And I can just talk about that book all day long, and it's one of my all-time favorite books. It makes me laugh, it makes me cry. And it left off in an emotionally damaging cliffhanger. So, literally, I would talk about Untold. I would just be like, oh my god, Untold's coming out soon. Untold is coming out soon. And I read it, and it's just disappointed. Because it started off good. And this series is about a girl named Cammie, and ever since she was younger, she's had an imaginary friend that has, like, a voice that she can talk to inside her head, and a new family moves to her town, and she figures out that her imaginary friend is a real person. Now, with this book, it started off good. I think I wrote down that I was even crying by like page 20, which is insane. But just as the book went on, I felt like it was trying to force a lot of action, and I was just not a fan of that. And the book overall wasn't bad. It was just really not what I was expecting. The best thing about this book was the relationship between the 2 main characters. It was developed really well, but otherwise the book was just a hot mess. And everyone's going on about how emotionally damaging the ending is, and I didn't even cry. So I think I must have missed something there too. So let me know in the comments down below if you agree with me on any of these, or if you don't, or what your most disappointing books of the year were. And also let me know if you guys want me to do a favorite books of 2013 video. I've been thinking about doing that. If you guys want to see that, let me know. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you again soon.